Hey everyone. So today's video is a little different. I have decided to build an NES game and also create physical copies of it. What you're looking at here is a port of my Jingles Defense game that I ported to NES. I originally created this for 3DO. And I've been working on this for a while, but I haven't really talked about it much, and this is the first video I've uploaded on YouTube. So if you're not in the 3DO Discord, then you wouldn't have heard of this. Even though I'm in a 3DO Discord, I do share other projects in there from time to time. But yeah, so this project is almost finished. It's in the final stages. Let me turn off this background music here. There you go. It's in its final stages. I'm just doing a little bit of cleanup to it and a lot of testing. And I'm at a point now where I'm starting to work on the physical boards. I do plan to create a limited physical release of this game, and I think it's going to be pretty cool because I've been collabing with a pretty talented artist to help me with some of the illustration. And I want to package this up in a box with manual, right? The cartridges will be custom as well, and hopefully there's some interest in the community here for an NES project like this. I do plan to create more projects in the future, NES projects, and I still plan to go back to 3DO, but I really wanted to get this out of my system. So, this game is a simple puzzle game where you have to move blocks around and capture cats. You also have to watch out for that bird that sometimes likes to turn the lights off before he comes for you. Sometimes he won't turn the light off, and you have to get to a burrow in order to evade him. I wanted to add an additional threat over the 3DO version to compensate for the fact that these cats, the AI is not as sophisticated. In the 3DO version, at least one cat at all times would have A-star pathfinding, which basically means if there's a path to you, then he will get to you. And if you happen to trap the cat that has the pathfinding, it will morph over to another cat, just like the Agent Smith from the Matrix. So this one, it still gets challenging. The cats do get faster. You end up getting more cats later on as you progress. So it still gets challenging. I'll just let this guy get me here. But yeah, so I can show you some of the work I did in FamiTracker for this. I had to learn a bit about how to create NES music. So if I were to pull this up, you can see it's pretty interesting. You have some channels up here. I have two songs in here. So here's the title song. This is where you add your notes. So this gets exported out and converted, and is what the game's using. Here's the play music. These kinds of sounds bring back some memories for me. But I'll show you a bit of the hardware that I'm working on. Currently, I have a prototype board where I order some parts, source some parts, and put together an NROM board. And this game is currently working in an original NES front loader using my test board. But I'm not yet 100% sure if I'm going to keep the components that I have so far in my test, or if I'm going to move to something more modern. But let me pull that up and show you a little bit about the hardware. All right, I'm back. So this is the hardware side of things. You're looking at an NROM board. I sourced these parts from different places to put this together. So the board just comes blank. What you're looking at way over here is the lockout chip, so that this can play on original hardware. That was really important to me. So it's been programmed accordingly. I bought a programmer to program all these chips with. But basically what this is the NES has a proprietary sort of locking key handshake that it does when it boots up a game, and if the lockout mechanism is not correct, then your game will not run. I believe it'll just keep rebooting. but this is working. I tested it and just completed this a couple days ago. So yeah, so these two chips here, these are my EPROMs or my EPROMs, and you can see they have the little UV erasable windows. If I end up using these chips for the production run, they will be covered up. And this is obviously a test board. I have all these chips sitting in sockets so that I can quickly swap them out and test to make sure that I'm programming things correctly. So I basically just soldered up the sockets to the board, not the chips themselves. So they're sitting a bit higher than they normally would. But this chip over here, this is the CHR ROM, or it contains the character data, the assets for the game. And those are just simple little tiles and sprites indexed into color palettes. The chip on the right, this is the PRG ROM, the program ROM. And in terms of the types of chips these are, this little guy over here is a AT Tiny. These are 27C128s. So even though the character data, for example, is only 8 kilobytes, I had to double it up to fit. And the PRG ROM is already 16 kilobytes. Aside from that, I have just some simple capacitors soldered on here, and then the soldering pads back here to set the mirroring of the game. So if you notice, the game was scrolling vertically, so I'm selecting the two specific name tables, and that's what that's for. Now, I'm not 100% sure yet if this is going to be the exact build I go with, minus the sockets, of course. There are other ways and more modern ways to put together a homebrew on NES, so I'm still doing some research on that. I may end up going with a different route, but the good thing is that I do have a working solution. This solution does have a bit of charm to it because of the EPROMs, I think, but I may not use the EPROMs. We'll see. But yeah, I hope you like this. This video is a bit different from other videos that I've done. By the way, you've probably noticed that when I was showing things earlier, you saw Zizix Games listed in the video. I decided to use Zizix Games for anything that I release on my own. I still have the Retro Love Letter alias, but I wanted games in the title, and Retro Love Letter is already a mouthful, so I just went with having a different name for all of the official games that I release. And I also put a website together. It's just a simple site for now, bare bones, just so I can get some information online outside of just YouTube. And I also just opened up an Instagram account just so I can post simple updates for anyone who wants to follow along and not wait for a video to be uploaded. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this. I'm curious to know your thoughts on this build, on the game, on the project, on even the fact that I'm tinkering with NES. You know, is this a project that interests you? I do plan on creating a limited physical run of these, you know, complete in box, custom everything. So hopefully you've enjoyed this, and there will be more to come soon. Thank you for watching.